Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today we're going to be recapping episode 48 of Campaign 3 of Critical Role. Super fun. I really enjoyed this one. We didn't learn a whole lot. There are little nuggets of things that we learned, but the first half was super exciting and super fun, and the second half was a nice come down off this really big high that we've been on for the last 3 episodes of them being in the Fey Realm. So super fun to me. Really love seeing the Fey Realm stuff. So this one was really exciting for me personally, and then I enjoy everything else that surrounded this episode toward the later half of it as well. One more thing I do want to say, I'm a mild Legend of Zelda fan. I've played a handful of the games, and I'm super, as most people probably are, I'm super excited to hear more of Matt as Ganondorf. If you didn't see the trailer for the next Legend of Zelda game, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, it seems that Matt is Ganondorf, and I'm pretty sure that that's the case. I don't know if he was just hired on for that specific trailer or not, but he probably isn't. He probably is Ganondorf, so it's really exciting. He's Ganondorf, guys. It's really exciting. So anyway, with that out of the way, because I really did want to talk about that, episode 48 of Campaign 3 of Critical Role. We start with the party in the woods outside the Shiver Keep, running from Shadow Lord Zathuda, who is on top of his dragon Gloom Glut. The party is hidden using the Hero Call Veils. Fern rolls a death save, and she rolls a 5, failing her first one. The party roll a stealth check. The party roll, kind of well, with the worst one being 13. Thank God for the Hero Call Veils. Shadow Lord Zathuda flies above the forest. He seems he doesn't see the party quite yet. FCG casts Healing Word on Fern, healing her 11 hit points. Chenny thinks about using the Horn of Silent Alarm to distract Shadow Lord Zathuda, but isn't sure if that'll tell him where they are or not, or if it'll be he can project it somewhere else. Imogen says they need to get going. Imogen can telekinetically move something to make noise off in the distance. She throws a stone far away. That's way off in the distance with her sorcery point. It seems to have worked, and the party start to move, but they do so a little bit stealthily. The rolls go pretty fucking bad. Orm is doing his best job to look for enemies. FCG leads the pack. They roll well on that, and can figure out which way is the correct way toward the gate westward. As they go farther away, they feel somewhat safe, and then hear wings flapping behind them. Suddenly, a beam of energy cuts through the trees, hitting Laudna and FCG, knocking Laudna out. She's almost set on fire, but Chetney immediately pats out whatever flames are on her, and FCG heals her. This blast made an opening for Shadow Lord Zathuda to see them. They try to hide again as Gloomglut turns around. Chetney pulls out the horn to try to trick him. Chetney blows the horn, and Gloomglut's head changes directions, and the party can make a dash for it. They reach a 15-foot drop. The party jump down, and some feather fall. Others tuck and roll as they hit the ground and keep on running, and they hear Gloomglut roar behind them. Laudna and Orm try to figure out how far behind them Gloomglut is. Orm can tell it's maybe 600 feet behind them. The party look for cover, but there's not much. Orm also sees a thin tower 400 feet away from them the other direction. This changes their plans, so they aren't seen by the magical radius of the tower. Orm leads the way. He can see where it looks to be safe. He leads them through the best path to avoid difficult terrain, so to allow them to move better. Off in the distance, Orm can see Gloomglut looking for them, circling as it's scanning at the moment. Ashton wonders if it's best to slow down, as it doesn't know where they are. Maybe it'll fly away. Imogen covers herself in mud, and everyone else follows her to get rid of their scent. The party sits still so they can hide from Gloomglut. They roll super good stealth, with the lowest being 15, and everyone else was above 20. Gloomglut gets pissed off while looking, and starts to fly away from them in a different direction. Taking 5 more minutes to wait away from the Veils, as they have an hour-long limit, so they probably have about 45 minutes left. They thread the needle between 2 of the towers yet again. As they go, the wings flapping behind them start to get quieter and quieter. They start to full-on run. Imogen leads the way now. Not a great roll. As Imogen leads, the party comes across a ruin mostly retaken by the lands around it. Imogen starts to move toward it, and she sinks into the ground and her leg is caught. She tries to use metal caltrops to get out of it, paying the Iron Tide yet again. It doesn't work, and Orm drops a dagger and Fern drops a fork, and this lets her out. Fern tries to grab her fork but can't. She's pissed off because it was part of a very special set. Fern then leads. She leads for about 5 minutes until they come back to the exact same ruin and they hear the sound of wings flapping coming near. They roll stealth. They probably have about 35 minutes left on the Veils. They watch Gloomglut fly around, and he blasts some trees near the ruin and then flies off. Chetney watches as the trees put themselves out from the fire that Gloomglut starts. They wait 5 more minutes, putting the Veils probably down to 30 minutes. Imogen sends a message to Nana to ask for help and to find the exit. She gets no response. The party starts to worry. They say the last time someone didn't respond to the message, they were dead. Fern says not to say stuff like that. She's probably doing something and coming to help them now. Orm goes to the top of the trees to get a good look of the thick brambles, or for the thick brambles, as that is their destination. He sees the towers and pathways throughout the forest, and he sees where the trees grow thin and see where a thick vine clump begins to grow and wraps around other trees. It's about a mile off. He also sees Gloomglut coming back. Orm tells everybody what he saw. They begin to run for it, but the area here is difficult to move through. They push forward until they hear the wings flapping again and try to hide. They have 25 minutes left on the Veils. They roll a good stealth once more. They hear the wings get louder and feel the wind pick up, and it seems that Gloomglut is right on top of them. When they hear another noise, a loud screech as a massive hawk slams into Gloomglut. They begin to run, believing this is Nana helping them. They want to watch, but can't, because they gotta let the kaiju fight. They just full-on sprint in the direction that Orm pointed to. They hear screeching and crashing and the breaking of trees behind them. They see the two crash off into the distance. They get to the thick brambles. It's hard for some to get through, and they hear the fight is still going on behind them. Imogen casts a lightning bolt on the brambles to try to make a tunnel. She absolutely fucking destroys the brambles in front of her, making a path, causing other vines to pull away from the danger. They climb through and over top some of the brambles. They see a black bird with long arms and a super long neck that leads to the head of Mori, which is a terrifying sight to me. They see her get hit by Gloomglut's breath weapon, and she goes down. The party want to help but can't. They hear the sounds of something getting really excited in the battle, and they hear the sounds of something else getting really frustrated. They push through the vines, and they get to a large black tree that splits at the trunk. They see a bunch of ropes higher up in the tree that make a nest. Chetney tries to smell fey creatures, but can't, sense the difference between what is just the fey realm itself and the creatures within. Orm watches as a creature climbs out of the nest with one eye and jagged teeth, and it has patchwork clothes. It has 4 arms coming from its torso, 2 of them acting as its legs. As it climbs down, it takes a regal stance. This is Terash, some sort of fey creature, and it wants to know what they want, and he asks them in a rhyme. Fern says they want to get through the exit to the material plane. They ask what they need to pay. Terash says yes in his own little rhymes yet again. Fern asks what he likes without a rhyme, and this upsets him, making his mouth water a bit. Ashen rhymes and gives him a thimble and is let past. Terash blocks everyone else, and Laudna reminds Ashen to use the paste that Mori gave them as to not have any time shit fuck with them as they leave. Ashen is then pushed through the portal or the gate by Terash. His name, man. Imogen tries to give him something, but he doesn't like it, and he doesn't like the rhyme. He wants Mister's gun. With every failed rhyme, his mouth gets a little bit more water, and he gets much larger. Orm rhymes and is allowed to go through, and gives him something as well. Laudna rhymes as well and is pushed through. FGG drops a sick rhyme and gives Terash a box of ginger snaps, and Terash eats the whole box without, looking at what was inside. FCG also gets pushed through. Chetney rhymes and gives him a wooden rocking horse. He takes it, bites it, but doesn't break it, and then throws Chetney through. Imogen tries to rhyme and give him one of the hero call veils, but it's bad and has to roll to convince him. Luckily, it works, and he throws her through. Fern is all that's left. She hears a blast from Gloomgut come from, as he's trying to get through the brambles to her. She rhymes and gives him a golden skeleton key. He accepts and throws her through as well, but not before saying that she's always welcome home, which is really sweet by something really creepy. They land in an unfamiliar jungle. The air feels Exandrian and feels way more safe. It's unfamiliar to everyone. Matt makes Imogen and Laudna roll perception checks. Imogen and Laudna sees the trees look like trees from where Imogen's from. So they're still on the same continent. Laudna spider climbs a tree. The party look back at the gateway and see a river with a waterfall, but it's not making any sound and no one is wet, but this is where they came through. Laudna sees the Highland Bluffs, where the Apex War mostly took place, and sees a bunch of farmland surrounding them. 40 miles away, she sees a small town of Jelvan, which is where Imogen's from. She also sees mountains with snow on it, where the capital city is located of this area. They are far away from most cities in any direction. Laudna tells them all of this, and Imogen tells them that is her hometown. It'll take about 2 days to get there. It's 40 miles as a crow flies, as opposed to what the actual walk would be. It's about mid-afternoon. Ashton asks if they go to the town, are they going to run into any friends or any enemies? Imogen says they don't need to go there. Everyone says they need to regroup there, as it could be a place for them to shop. Imogen says they can rest and call Rin. They don't need to go to Jelvan. FCG asks if there is a connection to her mother there that they could potentially use. Chetney asks if Imogen's dad is still alive. He is. Does he know Liliana is alive? She doesn't know. FCG tries to push for them to go, and Laudna pushes against this. Sorry, not Laudna, Imogen pushes against this. Chetney says it'll be helpful for Rin to know exactly where they are, like a town. Everyone agrees with that. Fern says we don't have to go if it was messy when they left, or if it'll get too messy when they go there. Laudna says that when they left, it was really bad. Imogen says it's a 2-day journey and they don't have that much time to waste, as they have a little bit of time before the solstice. They don't even know how long they have till the solstice. Laudna says they need to tell someone and to move away from the gate, just in case. Ashton says they like Fern's home. Fern agrees. Everyone is grateful for Nana helping them. Fern knew she would. Orm says they're still covered in crap and maybe they should clean up and rest. Ashton says it's hard to hold their hammer because of how slippery they are. They choose to bunker down and move half an hour and take a short rest. Laudna casts Find Familiar. Everyone bathes in some water and gets clean. Laudna finds a dead squirrel and uses it to bring back pate. Laudna says he did a good job and asks how it felt to be eaten. He says it awoken something inside of him. Great. Ashton gives FCG a bunch of kitchen stuff that they stole from the kitchen that he was infiltrating back in Eos, and is happy to see that FCG found Javi. FCG wishes that they could taste the food they made. Ashton says they'll find a way to make it so. Matt then asks for some rolls. Orm rolls a 3, then a 13, and then an 18 and a 13. Laudna rolls a 3, a 13, an 18 and a 4. That was weirdly close. Everyone rests up. Imogen says that they'll message in Rin. FCG says they can potentially message her dad. Imogen is not having that at all. They ask what happened. Laudna went into town. People didn't like her. Imogen helped her out, and they killed a few people as they had to leave. FCG asks if Imogen's dad helped. He didn't, and he had distanced himself even before this happened. Laudna asks why. Imogen thought it was him moving his way up in the reputation in the town, but she doesn't know all the details to it. They worked for a higher up at his stables. Imogen is going to message Rin now as she wants this conversation over with. Chetney looks to see if they can see Ruidus, and he doesn't see it, but it's also not the time of day where it would be visible. The party ask if they should scout out in Imogen's dreams. Imogen then messages Rin and tells them that they did what they wanted to do in the Fey Realm, and tells them that they are near the gate and asks for what day it is. Rin tells them they are moving toward the Shadow Key, or that some of her people are moving toward the Shadow Realm Key, and Rin is looking at the Treshend site. Rin messages saying that there are many guards around this site and more are moving in. The party made an impact. She also informs them of how many days there are until the solstice. Imogen says they destroyed it, the key in the Fey Realm, and says they need help getting back to Eos. Rin wants to look around more. As she's talking, she is cut off and says shit, and that was the last they heard of her. Imogen tells the other of everything, and it seems that they might not have a way out of here quite yet. Ashton asks if they can call the airship. Laudna tries to figure out how long it might take for the airship to get here. She thinks it'll probably take a few days to get them one way, which will cut off a bit of their time. It seems the paste that Mori gave them had helped them not be affected by time being a weird soup. And it's currently past sunset. Laudna says she hopes Rin is okay, but if not, they should call the ship and start getting them out here. Imogen can use sending one more time, as FCG did not take that spell. Chetney asks to be sure if Imogen wants to see her dad or not. Imogen says they can head toward the town to give the ship a place to head towards. Imogen sends a message to Xandis, telling them to come get them near Jelvin. Xandis is a little shocked by the fact that they're no longer in Eos, and says that they'll come get them as soon as they can. They'll leave within the hour. The space that they are in currently seems safe enough to rest. Ashton says they should deal with the bodies in the hole, the guards from the Fey Realm. Maybe throw them through the gate back for Terash to enjoy. Ashton goes through their shit. They have nothing. Imogen writes a note to him that tries to rhyme, and she does a good job with it. They throw them through the waterfall, and they leave it before something else happens, and they go rest. Chetney wants to take watch first, so he can go on patrol and hunt some shit because he feels the need. Orym stays up as well to watch near the camp. Orym goes to FCG and wakes them up and asks if they are okay. FCG says they've been on edge a bit lately. Orym says he does this thing where he helps others to try to forget his shit and asks if FCG is okay. He thinks that he's been doing the same thing. FCG is okay. They have found a new thing to follow, and it's been helping them, as learning about their past isn't really an option anymore. Most of the people who could have helped them learn about it are long since dead. Orym says there's others like FCG who could help. FCG says the Changebringer helps FCG move forward, so that stuff doesn't really matter anymore. Orym says that he likes FCG having a direction that they like. FCG wants to see this through for a while and see where it leads. FCG says he had been on edge and nearly killed Chetney, or at least thought of it. Orym says that's pretty normal. FCG says it's not. FCG feels like a question mark that no one can answer. Orym says that everyone feels that way. FCG questions this, as Orym seems to have a direction and a purpose. Orym says he doesn't know his place in all of this and doesn't know what the guards are intending for him. FCG says he does know he wants to protect the Tempest and to avenge his husband and father, so he has a direction. After this, FCG goes back to sleep, and Chetney is feeding on something off in the woods, and everyone gets a long rest. It's the next morning now, 12 days away from the solstice. Everyone is paranoid and asks if they need to make more rolls. They don't need to. There's no sign of Rin yet either. FCG answers a question from the night before. They can bring themselves and 2 others into the dreamscape for Imogen's dreams. Ashton says that might be some sort of time bomb within themselves, as their mind is really weird and they could use that against their enemies. FCG says that they can go in anyone's dreams if they want. Fern asks if someone can send a message to Nana. Imogen does and asks if Moray is alright, and is grateful for what she did and lets her know that Fern is also alright. Mori responds, saying it was the least she could do, and if the enemies want to have another tussle, they can come around and find out, which is funny to me. Fern is happy with that, though she is not surprised that she helped. She knew she would. The party think it's best to move to Jelvan. Orym asks if they can send a message to the Tempest later. Of course they can. Fern sends a message to Xandis asking how long it'll take for them to get to the town from where they are. Xandis says they have a day and a half before they arrive in Jelvan. Imogen asks if she could check in with Rin. FGG says that they should, just in case Rin goes to the gate. Ashen says she'd message them if she was good or not. Chetney pretends to talk to Rin and says that she's alright with his mental capabilities. The party are moving to Jelvan. Imogen is leading as she's from here. The journey is a pain as mostly it's uphill. The party have to make con rolls and Orym has to take a point of exhaustion as it is a difficult journey on their small little legs. On this journey, every once in a while, Laudna sends Pate out ahead to scout ahead, being the most terrifying scout drone of all time. There are no dangers, however. Nothing seems to have caught their eye against the party, but as they didn't stealth at all, they didn't really care. The party talk about if they should rest or risk exhaustion. They should either rest here and wait. Chetney asks if the area is safe at night. Imogen says it's like most other places. It can be dangerous at night. Fern says they're on a timeline and can't waste too many days. Imogen says they'll just be waiting for the ship at the town anyway, so what difference does it make? Ashen says they can shop there. They choose to push through. They are still going uphill, but it's now nighttime. Imogen leads the way. They go a little bit further, but not too much ground is made, as it seems to be a pain in the ass. Now the party check in with Rin. FGG messages Rin, saying they are near Jelvan, and asks if she's alright. Imogen was going to do the same and messages at the same time as FGG, so hers gets cut off, and she gets very annoyed. But they get no response from Rin. FGG asks Changebringer if she is dead. She flips the coin and says she's not. Imogen thinks they should enter her dreams and check to see if Rin is okay. Orym asks if they can do anything that they normally would be able to do inside the dream. Laudna says no, you're just a little orb of light. More of a support system. FGG asks what a person needs to be good at to get out of the dream by themselves if need be. No one is really sure. Laudna says when she tried to get out on her own, she got exhausted last time. Imogen chooses to take FGG, Laudna, and Chetney into the dreamscape. Before that, Orym asks if they can message Keyleth. Imogen messages Keyleth. She tells them where the assassins are north of Eos, planning something terrible on the solstice, something to do with a god killer. She says she understands, and the Arashari are beneath Terra at the moment. Something rooted beneath the rift is in major danger, and it might be connected to this. Chetney asks if Orym knows what the rift in Terra leads to. It leads to the elemental plane of Earth. The party go back to the dreamscape stuff. Imogen wants music and forgets who played last time. Fern doesn't know either. It was her. She says that she can play her flute, just like last time. FGG casts Enhanced Ability on Imogen for wisdom checks. Laudna says last time they got close to who they were looking for, so best to keep a distance as it sort of messed with them last time. Imogen asks who they should look for, Rin or Odahan. Imogen believes Odahan would know if they try to spy on her this way, and that it would be very dangerous. FGG casts Shared Dream on Imogen, Chet, and Laudna. Fern, Ashen, and Orym are on watch and help Imogen fall asleep. Imogen focuses on Rin within her dreams, and the storm consumes her. She sees 3 glowing orbs near her. These are her friends. Chetney needs a minute to sort of get his bearings. Imogen makes a charisma check, and the 3 orbs are pulled with her as she starts to fly around. They see shadows of trees and cliff sides as they fly by. They come to a large pit with a machine around it, or with machines around it. Imogen says to stay close, and they all start to look around for things in specific. Lana doesn't see anything, but Chetney, FCG, and Imogen see shadows of people moving equipment on the edge of the pit, and they see guards walking around. It's super busy there. There's also two large humanoid figures, about 15 feet tall. They are automatons, as FCG can see the arcane light within them. Imogen focuses on Rin and is pulled toward the center of the pit. Imogen says if they see Odahan, they need to wake up immediately. They see stairs curl in to the center of the pit as they go, and they see old buildings that have been unearthed. They see more shadows crossing bridges, and they lead to tunnels. There are tons of tunnels. This doesn't look like a natural sinkhole. It's been dug up by either the Ruby Vanguard or the other group. I'm losing my mind. They reach an ancient-looking tower that they have built upon. Near this tower is super busy, and there are 3 more automatons. These automatons aren't just patrolling; they are moving things, and they seems that people down here are building. They're moving energy sources and pulling them apart. It seems that they're building up the defenses at the base of this, based on recent events. There's more power sources, and they are being put into different tunnels. They see Amalia's key built around this tower. The key seems to be the centerpiece of everything. They see a figure at the base of the tower just standing there. It is the figure that is pulling them in. Imogen feels that whoever is standing there is what she is looking for. Imogen pushes forward closer to the tower. At the base of the tower, they see frozen in place, almost made of stone, Plane Rider Rin, for all to see, as a demonstration of don't fuck around with our shit. It's time for everyone to go. Matt rolls. Everyone freaks out. Time to go before they go. In the last seconds, FCG looks at one of the automatons. They see an egg-like body and clockwork legs and arms, with its head guarded. These are what look to be sentries. FCG looks at the tower and sees an odd familiarity to the way it is built. They see a flash of eyes glowing near the tower, and it looks in FCG's direction. Everyone tries to wake up. FCG needs to make a wisdom saving throw. FCG hears, interesting, I know you. FCG can't move. Everyone tries to wake up and needs to make wisdom saving throws. Imogen and Lana vanish from the dream, and without Imogen, Chetney and FCG feel lost, and the red of the dream turns into a more black and white. They see Odahan's form move towards them. They both hear, well then, it's punishment it is. They both hear a loud screech, and both wake up yelling. They both took damage from this. They tell Imogen what they saw, and that she being Odahan, punished them. They tell the rest about what happened to Rin and everything else they saw within the dream, how the defenses are being upgraded and the automatons surrounding it. Lana tries to figure out what it's for. Matt says this is built like a lightning rod of sorts. Chetney is curious about why Ruidus disappeared in the Fey realm. They are reminded Ruidus isn't native there. It seems they stopped the plans that the Ruby Vanguard had there. Ashen wonders if it's there to send aspects of the moon to other planes. They remember the Fey and the Shadow realms are the closest to the material plane, so it makes it easy for them to be connected. The party believe they are trying to get more power from Ruidus by spreading it across the realms. They wonder if it's going to open the divine gate that blocks Predados. Orm asks where they need to go. Do they delve headfirst into the site here, or do they go to the Shadow Realm? The others say there are other groups there in the Shadow Realm currently. Orm says they might not be faring as well, just like Rin. They can message Kai and ask how things are going. Orm says that they don't have a way into the Shadow Realm as is now without Rin, so they have to go after the key on this plane. This is the only option. Imogen needs to somehow get through to her mother, as she's going to be there. Laudna asks how they traveled around with Laudna being dead. They said they used Keyleth, and Keyleth used transport via plants. And then they had Mania Teray in Jushar, who helped after Keyleth was gone. But the pit was in a desert, so there's no trees to help travel through that sort of transportation. Fern asked who Master Faramore was. He's a powerful merchant that Imogen's family worked for. Did he know Imogen's mom? Imogen doesn't know. Laudna questions how Odahan is moving around and wonders if Imogen can do the same through her dreams. Mat reminds them that they saw her read a scroll and then she vanished while in the Fey realm. FGG says Imogen got stronger when she was pissed off. Maybe more powers will come out when she gets even more pissed off. They ask how FGG is doing. They aren't doing that great. FGG asks if Imogen can talk to the Ryola and ask them what they are and if they can help. Imogen can try, but they need to stay away from it as it can hurt them. It has very strong mental capabilities. Orm wonders if it spoke a strange language. It didn't even have a mouth when they last saw it. Maybe FGG can read its mind. FGG asks what's the point of asking them questions. Imogen doesn't really know. FGG wonders what if the Ryola are just like an image of Imogen of some sorts. Ashton says it's maybe just what it looks like. A red alien that's been caught up in all of this bullshit. They aren't going to do this now. They need to get to Eos or to the site. Laudna points out that there was a lot of stuff similar to FGG in the dream. FGG wonders if the automaton there were their parents. Jokingly, of course. Imogen wonders if the automatons were like FGG or if they didn't have their own free will. The party rests up, and FGG and Chet have a point of exhaustion now because of what happened. Orm is now over his point of exhaustion the next morning. There is 11 days left before the solstice. Chetney and FGG hurt in places that they never felt pain before. FGG thinks it's cool as they feel something. Imogen asks if they were working through the night, or if there's a time difference between where they are and where the site is. There is no time difference. Imogen opens her mind to see if they can tell if they're being watched. They don't seem to be being watched. They start moving and find the main path to Jelvin. Horse riders and carts go by and don't pay any attention to them. Around mid-afternoon, they come around the last bluff into the farmland that surrounds the city of Jelvin. It's a humble little town, but not too small. It's a town full of workers. There are all sorts of livestock and different trees. It is a very beautiful little town, or little city. They also see a skyship way off in the distance, about an hour off. Imogen says that they should get to her dad quickly. Laudna asks if he's home. Imogen says she doesn't know if he is or not. Maybe he's at the stables. Imogen cuts through the left side of town, passing small shops and stores. People going about their lives. As the party stand out, people begin to look at them. Imogen doesn't make eye contact and keeps moving. Laudna hides herself with her hood. People make a wide berth around them. Some people see them and just straight up run away from them in different directions, realizing who they are. Imogen leads them to the Faramore estate. The stables are off to the left side of the mansion. Imogen goes to the stables and hears the horses on the inside. She steps in and sees a young, half-elven girl cleaning one of the horseshoes. Imogen asks if her father is there, and the girl says he's in, and then realizes who she is, and then she goes off, and Imogen hears a man say, "What?" A man in his mid-40s walks into the stables. With dirty blonde hair and simple clothes, he looks over the party and then locks eyes with Imogen. He asks what brings her around. Imogen says they need to talk. He asks if people know she's here. Only the ones that saw her. He tells Cynthia to leave. He asks if the people with her are her friends. He asks what she wants to talk about. She says she wants to talk about Mom. The party start to give a little bit more space. Ashton tells FCG to not feel responsible for whatever happens here. Her father gets 2 seats from inside the stable, and Imogen telekinetically catches one. He asks what she wants to know. Imogen is surprised by the fact that he's open to talking about it. He always knew that she'd ask, "Why didn't you tell me that Mom was alive?" He thought it would be easier. When did Mom's powers start? He doesn't know. He thinks she hid them from him and didn't tell him about it. Maybe she was scared. Why'd she leave? He thinks the mystery of her gift was stronger than what they were building here. Imogen questions this. There was nothing that made her leave, no incident. Shortly after they had Imogen, she kept having dreams that Imogen would follow in her footsteps and asked what that meant. He asked what that meant. He was angry when she left because she hid all this from him. Part of him wants to believe she did it to protect Imogen, to either not hurt her or to not find out what this all was. After 10 years, he stopped hoping that she'd come back or that she was hoping to protect them. Imogen says a warning would have been nice. He hoped by not saying anything that things would be different. Imogen says she's been pulled in by bad people, she being Imogen's mother. Imogen says her mom wants to fight, but she can't. She says that she's helping her mom. Things could get bad. Imogen doesn't know what she's looking for. She doesn't know her mom at all and asks if there's anything to help pull her back. Imogen says that she left in a bad way and didn't ask for anything from her father, but wants something to help her bring her mother back. He hasn't seen her in 20 years and only knows what she was like, not what she is. She was smart, sweet, and strong-willed, which is why he liked her. He always knew she didn't belong here and thought maybe they'd go together when they figured it out. But they were in different worlds. He doesn't know what to tell her. Fern asks if he kept anything of hers. He says that it's not really her business. Fern says it's the end of the world type of situation. They need something. He says they come here to bring up bad memories and expect something from him. He's getting pissed off. Imogen says he knows that she wouldn't come back if this was some sort of tall tale. He asks what she's trying to do. Imogen wants to help her mom find a path back. He gets up and walks out of the stables after a bit of silence. Imogen follows, but looks for Flora as she leaves her horse and she pets him, or pets her, and then follows her father. The party stay behind at the stables. He leaves the estate grounds. He seems to be heading home. Imogen tells the party this and they should follow. Lana asks what he's doing. Imogen hopes he's helping. He leads her to the grass fields around their home. It's like how it was when she left. She looks to the sky to make sure it's not a dream. It's blue. She says, "Run," to herself and sees her dad enter the home. The rest of the party are behind her, a little ways off. Imogen goes inside, and the house is bare but still welcoming. There's less stuff there as there's only one person living there. He is in the back room. He comes out with a box. The box has a chain with an oval-shaped locket on it. Imogen opens the locket, and it's a small fingerprint inside the metal with writing that says, "Better halves become a better whole." He tells her not to fall too far into the same trouble that her mom has. He says to not stay around. Some people still remember what happened. She asks if they are okay. He says they got better. He gets up. In his head he hears, "I never wanted you to be afraid of me." He says, "Me neither." He pats her on the shoulder. He says tell her, and then stops and then leaves. Imogen joins the group outside. Lana apologizes to her. Imogen says he helped and shows them the locket. Everyone asks if she is okay, and she is glad they came to see him. They ask if they should steal Flora, as that's her horse. Imogen says that she'll be safer here. The skyship is landing near the outskirts of town. Ashton says let's make a scene. The party tell Imogen they have her back, and they walk through the main part of town. As they walk through the town, all of the eyes are on them, and as they go to all the eyes are on them as they go to the skyship. The skyship lands off in the outside of the town. The party see a bunch of people looking at Imogen. Some are stunned. Some are angry. Xandis rushes to the front of the ship and yells, "Hello, hello there, good people. This is the Silver Sun. to give you a majestic entrance to or for the Bell's Hells. Imogen waits for everyone else to get on the ship. They're trying to play off that Imogen is super important now. Imogen turns back to the crowd and begins to fly up and lands on top of the ship, facing everyone still. The people there are in awe. Xandas asks if it's time to get going. The party say yes. The skyship picks up and makes a big circle around the town, showing off once more before they leave. Xandas asks where they are going. The party says, to the Hellcatch. Xandas says, oh great. Imogen puts the locket on as they leave. And as they look off into the sky, they see an aurora off in the distance. And that is the end of the episode. There you are, episode 48. This was a fun one. I really enjoyed it. Seeing more stuff about Imogen's past and running into her family and learning more about what happened with her and Laudna to sort of put her against her father. Kind of. It wasn't necessarily that incident. It seemed to be more so before that as well. I love this episode. Best part was the riddles. That was sick. Maury coming in as a hawk was really cool as well. Or a long neck fucked up hawk. It was really cool, really fun. I love chase episodes like these. They're really cool. And yeah, just overall really enjoyed this episode. A lot of fun. We are inching closer to the solstice, which is really excited. So yeah, looking forward to that. One quick thing before we go. Hopefully, around episode 50, I'm going to have a new piece of art for the recaps. So it'll be a different thumbnail. It'll probably be them on a skyship. And hopefully it's done by then. Maybe episode 51, who knows. So just in case you guys see a different thumbnail than this one, that's why. Anyway, that has been me. See you guys next week. Peace.